Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out with Carly Skelly. Super bantamweight, I guess we have to say now because it's the title you're going for, although you've mostly competed at bantam so far. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've come up a weight for this one.
I think she has too, Amy Timlin, who you'll be fighting for the Commonwealth Super Bantamweight title, October the 2nd. I think there's a lady up in Scotland who's got the Super Bantamweight belt, who's had it for a couple of years, although not defended it yet. So I think that's probably why this has been made at... she's got the bantam, so I think that's why this has been made at Super Bantam. How much are you looking forward to it? Because not many people are even getting out at the moment because of the pandemic, and you're going to be on a show. It's going to be streamed, I believe, as well on fight.tv. So it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to it. It's been like quite kind of a long camp. It was meant to happen in August. And then obviously with everything that's going on this year, it's been put back. But I've actually just spoken to my manager, and at the minute I'm thinking it's going to be getting put back again.
Right, okay.
So it's not looking great for the 2nd of October. So, I think it's just one of those years, isn't it? There's a lot going on. It's very, very strange times for everybody, isn't it? So,
do you know why they're planning to put it back again? Because it was planned with no fans anyway, so I'm assuming it's not waiting for crowds to come back.
No, I'm very. It's just all a little bit up in the air. I know her coach is putting it on his show, Kieran Farrell. Yeah, and I think he's had a bit of a nightmare by the sounds of things when I've spoken to my manager, trying to get everything approved and stuff. And I think his area's gone into like a local lockdown. So I think it's got something to do with that, as far as I'm aware of. And he's basically said he's struggling to get the show ahead with all the lockdown situation. So we was basically putting it on. I know our manager's Dave Caldwell.
Yeah.
He was putting it on to him to see whether there's anything he can organise. So hopefully we can get it on another venue and on another date, hopefully soon.
With it being put back a couple of times, how do you keep yourself ticking over? How good are the training facilities? What are you allowed into as well at the moment?
I always train anyway, so even if like there's nothing lined up, it's something I always do. It's part of my routine, so I'm always training. And I've got a really good relationship with my coach, so I'm always in with my coach, and he knows when I need to step it up, step it down and stuff. So he does all my training with me. I do all my boxing sides with him and all my strength and conditioning with him as well. So I'm really lucky that I've got everything through Sid. It's just, I think it's the mindset is sometimes quite different, not knowing the date and things like that. But it is what it is. We're all in the same boat.
You're 3-0 as a pro. You've done really well so far. You only started boxing at 29. You're what, 33 now?
Yeah.
Glad I got that right. Yeah. You never want to get a woman's age wrong, I guess. So you haven't been boxing for very long at all. What made you first get into it, and why do you think you've improved so quickly?
I was running before I got into boxing and picked up an injury. And then from there, I was like, I needed something else. I needed some sort of like aim, something to focus on. I've done a lot of like charity events and stuff. So I originally started with like a charity fight. And my partner, Paulie, used to box himself for the same gym where I'm at now with Sid. He said, you've done really well. Why don't you carry it on? And from there, I went into North Mersey and started boxing for Sid. And really quickly, I'd done really well. I progressed quite quickly. I ended up boxing for England, boxing in the GB Championships. I went over into like the Eindhoven Box Cup, and it just all come together really quick. And I've got a lot of love for it. Like, I'm very passionate about it, love it. And I think because I've got that passion and I don't take it too serious, I do want to go all the way. I want to be the best. I want to be a world champion. But I'm kind of like a laid back person. I've got a family as well. I've got another career. So it's not like I don't take it too serious and get too wet up over anything. I just enjoy it. It's kind of like a big, massive hobby. So I've got my family, I've got my work, but I've got this as well. This is like my outlet in life. So that's why I progress so quickly. I'm learning all the time because I've just got like a complete and utter love for the sport.
Well, as you alluded to there, you've got 2 sons, plus you work part-time as a nurse.
Yeah.
and you've got boxing at a professional level. You say you're laid back. I mean, I don't see how you can be with all that going on. What's your secret?
It's just, yeah, life can be a bit crazy at times, but I think if I ever have a day off and I'm trying to think, "Do you know what, I've had so much going on, let's take it easy." I sit down for 10 minutes and then I'm like, oh, I can't cope. I need to do something. I can't sit down. I can't sit still and relax. It's just my personality. I'm always on the go. With work as well, I've kind of took a step back a little bit the past couple of months, with having this fight lined up, it being a really, a big fight. Because I'm agency staff, so I've took a little bit of time out of work to focus on it. But then obviously if it's not going to go ahead again, then things might change slightly there.
And you work in children's nursing, right?
Yeah.
That must be a pretty rewarding job at times. Probably challenging at times as well, emotionally, but rewarding for the most part, I would think.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely rewarding, especially when you see somebody that's gone through a whole process and then you get to discharge them. It's lovely, but I definitely find that more challenging. Like a lot of people say, it must be hard with the boxing. I find the boxing is the fun side of my life. The nursing is the difficult and more challenging for me.
Is that practically or is that more emotionally? What are kind of the main challenges for you?
Probably both. We do 12.5 hour shifts, and by the end of the day, especially when you're dieting as well, I'm wiped out. Yeah,
And starving as well, probably. But
yeah, definitely. It's
um,
actually all right. I've gone up a weight. I've been able to eat, so it's actually nice being able to eat as
it's
much
only
as
an
you
extra
want.
4 pounds. I mean,
It's surprising how much that makes a difference as
really.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bear that in mind. I've never been anywhere near as light as that since I was a child, so I'll have to take your word for it. How do you kind of balance it? I know you said that you don't like to sit down. You always want to be doing something, but there must be times when it is hard to balance it, especially when you don't get to have as much time off because the 3 fights so far have been at a lower level to the one you're preparing for now.
Yeah. Um, I kind of manage my time quite well. I think I'm quite structured and I do like a bit of a routine. So I'm up early. Like a lot of the time I'm up 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So I get so much done of a morning that by the time like the kids are up, we have our time together and they're at school. I've then got the time to myself. Then I've done so much already before they've even gone to school that the day's mine. So I've got the time to focus on my training. I've got the time to focus on reading and doing a bit of research on what I need to do and things like that. So I manage my time really well. I'm probably flat out nice and early. Like I don't know, there's no late nights for me because I'm up early, but it works.
And is it right? One of your sons is now following in the family tradition. Is going down the boxing gym as well.
Yeah, my eldest, he's 13, Aidan. We were actually in together yesterday, so he does a little bit of work with me. He'll help me out doing a bit of sparring and stuff because he's a little bit heavier. Not that long ago, actually, we were the same weight, and he's outgrown me now. He's taller, heavier. Yeah, he's had I think about 4 fights. He had quite a few skills and 4 fights, but with amateurs, it's quite difficult at the minute. There's not much going on for them, is there? With
My
all this.
my son's called Aidan as well, but he's only 4, so
Okay, nice.
he throws a few punches, but he's not really classically trained just yet. But he enjoys it, I think. Um, Amy Timlin, obviously, not much of a gap in experience. I know she's significantly younger, not meaning to make you feel old, of course, but
Yeah,
she's only 20, but she only had, I think, 8 amateur fights. She comes from a kickboxing background. Have you managed
yeah.
to see much of her? Have you managed to do much research on her?
I've not seen a lot of Amy now. I seen her in the amateurs. She boxed a girl who I know. So I'd seen her in the amateurs. And I knew that she had more experience in kickboxing rather than boxing. But she's a young girl. She seems determined. I think it's a massive, massive risk for her to be taken. That's what my opinion is. All of the stalling with the dates and stuff is making me wonder: is there anything to do with that? But whether that's a team behind her just trying to protect her, because Amy seems like she's a tough girl and wants it just as much as me. So it's a great opportunity for both of us, Sam.
You've both got very aggressive styles as well. It seems like the sort of fight that can't really miss in terms of being a spectacle for the fans. Would you go along with that?
Sorry, say that again.
I said you've both got very aggressive styles, so it seems almost certain to be a great spectacle for the fans. Would you go along with
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think maybe power-wise, then maybe she might want to take a step back from when she feels power, whether she's felt power from a more mature fighter, even though the experience is very similar. I think with age comes power. But I think it'll be definitely a good one to watch.
And when it eventually does happen, assuming you come through it and get the win, what are your overall ambitions? What can this fight do for you, and where will it put you?
It definitely opens a lot of doors. I think women's boxing at the minute is absolutely thriving. Quite recently, you've seen like a lot of shows. We've had Shannon Courtney, Natasha Jonas, Katie Taylor. There's been some really good fights. So I kind of want to carry on in that line, just keep building and building, and ideally win a world title. I believe in myself, and I know I'm dedicated enough. So I'm more than capable. I'll be able to get to that level.
When you watch fights like that, like the ones that took place at Fight Camp, does it kind of reassure you that you got into boxing at around the right time? Because women's boxing's never been higher profile in this country, it seems.
Yeah, I think I've got into it in a perfect time, and a lot of people do bring up my age and say, "Oh, you're a bit older." For me, I'm new to this sport. Like a lot of these girls who were out there, they've been training, they're constantly learning. But then I think you get to a stage where you can't really learn much more. You've been involved for so long, whereas I'm still like that sponge. I'm still absorbing and still learning. And with my age, I feel like I'm at my peak. I'm the fittest I've ever been in my life. I'm as strong as I've ever been. So for me, fitness-wise, and my body's still quite fresh in the sport. I think a lot of the time when you've been in it long and you've took all them punches, you've got them niggles along the way. My body feels fresh, so I wouldn't really say age is anything to be worrying about. And as like you say, it's the perfect opportunity now, the way women's boxing's going. I think most shows you tend to see a female boxing fight on it.
Just before I let you go, just let people out there know how they can find you on social media so they can follow the journey and see how you're getting on.
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm on Carly Skelly, and then Facebook, just Carly Skelly, and Twitter. I don't really use Twitter. But the age thing does kick in. I'm not used to all the new ones that come out. So yeah, I think Carly Skelly or Carly Skelly, one or the other.
I'm sure they'll be able to find you.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, I really appreciate your time. I hope it gets rescheduled soon, because it's a fight a lot of people, especially in the trade, are looking forward to. So fingers crossed it won't be too long a wait.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to do the interview as well.
No problem. You take care, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.